What's good, the peoples? I forgot that I named my hero in Secret of Evermore Idiot Sandwich. That is apparently a thing that I did. And Professor Pooper. And then we get thrown in jail. So we're going to play Secret of Evermore tonight. But before I do, I have to have a long discussion about Zelda games. Huzzah. Just get to a point where I can kind of like pause things for a minute here. Yeah, there we go. Alright. So I need to get like a browser window on screen here. It's not my fault they gave me enough letters to name the hero Idiot Sandwich. Like, you can't do that and then expect me to not do that, right? I am but a man. So let's see here. Is this the page that I want? Yeah, I think this will do nicely. Let me get this on screen here. Do I have like a browser window? Aha, there we go. Okay. I'm going to crop out part of that because I don't like that yellow. We can just increase this on screen here. So somebody in my Discord chat a while ago had a good idea for a tier list video that I could do. A full tier list of all of the Legend of Zelda dungeons. And I actually really like that idea. But there's a bunch of Zelda games that I've never played, and there's a bunch of Zelda games that I've only played like once or twice many years ago. So I would have to replay quite a lot of this series before I felt like I'd be in a position where I could speak with any sort of authority on the dungeons. So we'll just keep this on screen for now. So what I'm going to do is make a definitive list of all of the Zelda games. Like what Zelda games actually count and have dungeons in it. And so I went to the Zelda wiki and I found a list of all of the games. And I'm going to go down this list and we'll just decide whether each of these games should be considered like a real Zelda game. Air quotes, bunny ears, dancing V's. And then I'm going to type them into this list on my laptop, and then I'll have it. So, okay. Because there's a lot of Zelda games. Like, a lot. There's like 416 Zelda games. They're all over the place. So, when I think of, like, what is the mainline Zelda series, I think of, like, the first games in my head, I would consider, like, Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword. I haven't played it, but I think it belongs in that list. And then Breath of the Wild. Like, that's it. If you're just talking what are the major beats of the Zelda series, like what are not like sequels or spin-off games or like often weird directions or only exist on handhelds or whatever. Although I guess Breath of the Wild does technically exist only on a handheld. No, that's not true. There's a Wii U version of that game, which is a handheld, but you can't carry it outside your house. So I don't know what I'm talking about, I guess. But that's my like initial thought. Like to me, that's like the main Zelda series. But there's all these other games too that have dungeons in them. Like is Link's Awakening like its own like main series game, or is it just a sequel to A Link to the Past? Also, it's weird to me that I don't know how they broke this up. Like they have the beginning. Like to me, A Link to the Past is not the beginning of Zelda. Because I was actually alive when that game came out and was released. And by the time Link to the Past was released, like Zelda was already an establishment. Like it was already there. It had already begun. I can see now why like a 17-year-old who spends their time editing fan wikis would characterize it this way, but I don't think it's a very helpful way to characterize the series as having the third and fourth game in the series on later hardware generations count as the beginning. The early years, maybe, but even that. So, okay. The lens we're looking at is which of these games are full-fledged Zelda games that have dungeons that can be talked about, basically. I don't think you can make an argument against The Legend of Zelda, except to say that like there might not be that much interesting to say about the dungeons, so I'm going to put that on the list. The Legend of Zelda. I also need to consider how, because I'm going to go through the entire series and try to play them all on stream. So I'm going to have to come up with ways to stream all these games. And Zelda, I think I can just play off the Switch. Obviously, I can emulate any of these if I have to, if I really don't have any other choice. Like for these Oracle games, if we decide to play these, I probably don't have any choice but to stream them. I also note that this list does not have the CDI games, and that's probably for the best. See, I don't think I would have difficulty rating the dungeons in The Legend of Zelda. Like, obviously, if I was going to do a tier list and take it seriously, like, at the outset, I would set some definitions and some criteria for what makes a good dungeon versus a bad dungeon. But I think I have quite a lot to say about the dungeons in The Legend of Zelda. Because, yeah, you could say that they're out of sync with later Zelda games. You could say that, like, the format hadn't crystallized yet. But then it's not like later games don't also play with the idea of what a dungeon is and what you're supposed to do in them. Like, you can't... There's no definitive... correct definition of what is a Zelda dungeon that would fit every single one of these games that would not exclude any. And same thing for Zelda 2. And same thing for, if we go down to the bottom of this list, like same thing for Breath of the Wild. How many dungeons does Breath of the Wild have? There are people that would argue that it has over 120 dungeons. I think those people are wrong and crazy. And the dungeons that it does have aren't very dungeon-like when compared to the rest of the series. So that's part of why I think this is going to be an interesting exercise. So part of that is going to be come up with a set of criteria that I think you can judge all of these games by without unfairly penalizing some for not quite crystallizing in the proper way. But okay, Zelda 1 and then Zelda 2. I would play both of these, I think. I think a lot of people don't consider Zelda 2 to be like a main Zelda game. It's kind of the black sheep of the series. This was before Nintendo had like actually set in stone their idea of what this series was going to be. But I like the game, and it does have dungeons, and I think there's a lot to say about the dungeons going through them, because there are ideas in them that work, there are ideas in them that don't work, and Link to the Past, obviously, is really the first game that, like, this is as far back as I think you can go in the series and point to it and say that's what a modern Zelda dungeon looks like. I think if you pull any dungeons out of Link to the Past, people who've only been playing Zelda games for 4 or 5 years since the Switch came out would see something recognizable in them. And then Link's Awakening. And this is the first one I think we have a question, because I don't think there would be much merit to playing the Game Boy version of Link's Awakening and the Switch version, because the dungeons are identical between the two versions. It's also the only Zelda game I'm aware of that has multiple versions like that. I actually did just play this game last year, and I played the Game Boy version of it last year, like to completion. So I think for this project I would play the Switch version of Link's Awakening. Ocarina of Time. So I would have to get I have a 2DS that has a streaming rig in it, but I haven't used it for many years now. So I'd have to get that up and running again, but I should be able to do Ocarina of Time, which is my favorite Zelda game, and which has some of the best dungeons in my estimation. I also do have this GameCube version that they talk about here. If I get the GameCube HDMI thing and I can stream from that, I could play that version of the game as well, I guess. Same for Majora's Mask. So this is the first Zelda game in the series that, like, some of the previous games are like direct sequels or spin-offs or whatever, but Majora's Mask, it's so different from Ocarina of Time in some key ways. Like, the game really only has 4 dungeons. Most of the game's content is in, like, running fetch quests and stuff. And I never remember this game fondly when I think about it. The dungeons are so, like, such a small part of the game. But I don't actually remember what the dungeons are comprised of, so I would definitely have to go back and replay it. I would probably want to get a hold of Majora's Mask 3D and play it on the 3DS version. And then these are the first games that I'm actually on, like, I'm not decided about. Oracle of Ages and Seasons. Because Nintendo didn't develop these. They farmed, I think Capcom developed these, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. It should say here. Let's see. Yeah, they were developed by Capcom. So, Nintendo didn't develop these. They're kind of like Pokemon Red and Blue in that they were released together as 2 games, but kind of like the flip side of the same game. I'm not really sure how it works. It says that there's, like, link connectivity between them. After the game's been completed, the player is given a password that allows the other game to be played as a sequel. So they're like sequels to each other. I played one of these, but I do not remember which one. Years and years and years ago, I played one of these to completion, but I don't remember which one. And they're hard to get a hold of today. Let me just... How much do these carts go for? Oh, these aren't bad, actually. This is less expensive than I was expecting, actually. But I would have to be able to stream from my GameCube in order to play these. I definitely wouldn't look forward to playing these because it doesn't say much about a game that I played years ago once. And I can't even remember now which game it was. Whether it was Ages or Seasons. And people keep telling me, like, that there's a difference between the two. Like, they're different game styles. Like, one is more exploration-based and the other is more, like, combat or challenge-based. I think Treble thinks I should commit to playing these games. I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I would have to buy copies of them. So there's an investment there. And I'd have to get the GameCube streaming rig set up, which is something that I just really want to do anyway. I do think the games unambiguously have dungeon content, though. Which is really the big goal. If they both have dungeons, I guess I'll put them on the list. And then just try to remember which one is which. Each of these games have 10 dungeons? Are they the same dungeons, or is it like a different set of dungeons for each game? Like, do I have to play both of them, I guess is my question. Or is this a Pokemon situation where if I don't care about Garvidar or whatever, it doesn't matter what version I play? Because I really don't know much about these games. The reason that I'm very hesitant to want to go back and replay these is because, like I said, I did play one of them to completion like 20 years ago, and I don't remember which one. So it must have been very forgettable. It must not have been a great game. It must have just been like a chore to get through, and then I just put it on the shelf and forgot about it. So they have separate items, separate dungeons, and separate everything. Like, maybe I'll just commit to playing them, but with the caveat that I'll probably complain about them a lot as I go. Okay. This is another one that I don't know anything about, is Four Swords. This is like the multiplayer Game Boy Advance one, I think. Comprising a modified part of A Link to the Past and an original multiplayer only game titled Four Swords. So like I wouldn't even be able to play this then. I'm just reading through the description here. It was briefly made available as a free download for both the DSi and 3DS, featuring a single-player mode. I wonder if that can be emulated, because obviously I wouldn't be able to get a copy of that. But like DS emulation is okay these days. I wonder if that would be worth playing. It's like a roguelike, then there's not really much to talk about in dungeon. Like, does it have dungeon content, I guess is the main question. Because the multiplayer is right out. Like, I'm sure there must be some way to set up, like, multiple copies of Visual Boy Advance across the internet and play online, but I don't want to do any of that. Well, let's see what the internet says. Does Zelda Four Swords have dungeons? There's a YouTube video ranking the dungeons from Four Swords. What is this single player mode, I wonder? I wonder if that would be worth experimenting with, getting a DS emulator set up and trying the single player mode. Like, how would that even work, though? Like, you control all four of the guys simultaneously, or? And then later there was a version. Yeah, later there's a version of this for GameCube as well. Four Sword Adventures. Level-based action. 24 individual stages and a map screen. There's no connecting overworld. Each player is required to use a Game Boy Advance linked to the GameCube via the cable. So, like, how did anybody play this? Did anybody back in the day really, like, their friends all came over with their Game Boy Advances and you all played plugged into somebody's GameCube? Like, did this game actually get played back in the day? Who is this for? Because to play this properly, you have to own a GameCube, at least 2 Game Boy Advances, and 2 of the cables, right? I wasn't a kid anymore at this point. I was in my 20s when this game came out, so, like, obviously I'm not in that childhood demographic anymore. When my friends and I got together to play games, we weren't going to do something like this. But, like, this game always baffled me. My gut's telling me to just ignore the Four Swords games. I feel like you don't worry about, like, maybe we check out what this single player mode for the 3DS edition was. I can get a 3DS emulator up and running and maybe just spend the night checking it out. I'm going to put a question mark by that one. Four Swords for 3DS question mark. Like, if I get the emulation working and we try it out and it turns out there are like unique dungeon experiences, like maybe talk about them a little bit, but okay. Wind Waker, I don't think you can make an argument against Wind Waker. I also have a version I can play. I've got my Wii U version of this. Also a game that has very little dungeon content. I think there's like 5, maybe 6 actual dungeons in the whole game, and most of it is just exploring the ocean, which I found very boring. And then there was quite a lot of combat challenge in this game. Like, a lot of the game was based around like little combat arenas where you had to kill a whole bunch of monsters, which was common in like the original Legend of Zelda, but not really any of the sequels up to this point. Like, there's not really any scenes in Ocarina of Time where you might have to fight a Stalfos or two, but you don't have to fight, like, an entire combat arena to open the door. Then the Four Swords Adventures. So, okay, is this just... I've never been real clear on this. Is this just, like, a port of the Game Boy game for the GameCube? Or is it, like, a new game that works the same way as the Game Boy game did? Like, what happens if I try to play this game single player holding a GameCube controller? I guess that's my question. What does the game actually do in that case? Like, does it just pop up a screen saying, sorry, forehead, you don't have a Game Boy Advance and 3 friends, you're not allowed to play? I'm just reading through the description here. It says that it features a single-player campaign in which using a Game Boy Advance is optional. But what is that experience actually like? Also, how much does this game cost? $40 thereabout. That's not terrible. So this would be within the realm of possibility to get a copy of and play. This would be a big investment, though, because like I wouldn't be able to play this without getting a copy. I guess I could try to download an ISO somewhere, but I've had spotty experiences with that in the past with GameCube and Wii emulation. Does it have dungeons in like even the broadest sense of the word dungeons for Zelda? Because what I'm reading here is that it has 24 individual stages, but I'm not really sure what that means. Like, what does a typical stage in this look like? Should I put a question mark by this one and do some more research on it? Dungeon-like levels. So when you say dungeon-like levels, I'm picturing like a shrine from Breath of the Wild. Is that like in the ballpark? Except like with obviously the shrines in Breath of the Wild don't have monsters to fight, and this game would. Yeah, this even says it's like it uses Mario Brothers as a comparison for what the levels kind of feel like to play. I don't think I'm going to get a lot out of playing this Four Swords business, to be honest. I feel like I'm trying to talk myself into it, but I don't really think there's much to be gained from the standpoint of, hey, let's take a look at all the dungeons in the Zelda series and have like a comprehensive discussion about the quality of them and their composition. Like, these games don't really feel like they fit as part of that discussion. I'm gonna ignore these. I'm gonna remove the question marks and just delete these from the list. As far as we're concerned, these games don't exist. I think that's just best for everybody. Okay. The Minish Cap, which for some reason is listed under the Four Swords sub-series, along with Wind Waker. I don't really know how they do that. Minish Cap is one I've played slightly. I have it on my 3DS. But why didn't I complete this? I started it. I'm not sure why I didn't complete it now. I don't know, but I definitely own a copy, and it definitely has dungeons in it, so put that on the list. Twilight Princess. I would have to get a copy of Twilight Princess HD. I don't think I would want to play the Wii version of this again. Because Twilight Princess HD has button controls for the combat. Is that correct? Like, I don't have to use the Wiimote. Because I streamed this game years ago, and it's like the Wiimote combat, swinging your hand around. That would get, like, really annoying anyway with my microphone here. I'd just be bumping the microphone all day long. Like, don't want to do that. I would have to get the HD version of this for, I think, was it Wii U or Switch has the HD version of Twilight Princess. I can look that up real quick. Wii U. Okay, so yeah, I know we can just get a copy of that somewhere. Imagine swinging the Wii U control pad. You have to do some of the shrines in Breath of the Wild. You gotta like move the control pad around, and it's real dumb. Phantom Hourglass I've played. I did not think too highly of it, I recall. And I think I don't have an option except to emulate it. I don't have a good way to stream DS games. My 3DS can do it, but there's a technical reason why the 3DS can't stream DS games, only 3DS games. So, and this is another one I don't know a lot about, Spirit Tracks. I have no idea what this game even is. I didn't buy it because I thought Phantom Hourglass was pretty bad. So let's just read the description here. Yeah, this doesn't say if there's like dungeons or not. So this is it's just like a classic Zelda style game using the touch controls from the DS version. It's like, because my understanding was it was basically just the same kind of stuff as Phantom Hourglass, which had the weird touch controls and some pretty bad dungeons, as I remember. It was not terrific. Surely a DS emulator has a button for, like, close the DS, because a lot of DS games had that. There has to be a way to just emulate that functionality. So has anybody actually played Spirit Tracks? Dungeons and Spirit Tracks. Let's take a look here. Tower of Spirits, Forest Temple. Oh, shop for furniture today. Gigantic ad popping up because the fandom wiki is terrible. Forest Temple, Snow Temple, Ocean Temple, Fire Temple, Sand Temple. Oof. That's a generic ass list of dungeons. All right. I mean, I would have to either include or exclude both of these games, I feel like. Like, any criteria by which I play only one of these, I would have to play the other. And any criteria by which I would exclude one of these would exclude the other. But I think that they're probably both bad games. I'll put them on the list for now. And then I guess when the time comes, I'll try and see if the emulation even works. We'll see if we can get a question to, like, how do you close the DS? Oh, look, there's an MU forum thread from 2018. Hello, in the game I'm currently playing, I need to close the two screens to solve a puzzle. It's necessary for the main quest, so I can't avoid it. The input you need is called lid. It will toggle the open-close state of the NDS. Okay, so there's like a lid button you push to close and open the DS. Narisham, thank you for re-upping your membership. I'm not sure if Prompto sang or not. I didn't see the pop-up. But he does so love to sing. Okay, so those games are probably awful, but I think they probably do belong on the list. Skyward Sword is another game that had terrible motion controls, so I didn't bother playing it. But Treble just sent me a copy of the HD version, which I think has button controls. Like, the back of the box even says button controls on it, which is nice. So there's no reason to not play Skyward Sword. And then for some reason, the next set of games is called Rethinking the Conventions of Zelda. And their first game in this list is just a really conventional Zelda game. Edgar's very upset about something. I'm going to go see what he's upset about. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Unfortunately, Edgar is still alive, and he's just barks sometimes. All right, Link Between Worlds. I should have no difficulty just playing this right off the 3DS. How did this site group the games? I'm assuming like some extremely young wiki editor just grouped them arbitrarily. So like the beginning is like the first 4 Zelda games, even though there's nothing the beginning about Link's Awakening. The 3D era, which includes 2D games. Like, the Oracle's games are totally 3D games, guys. Even though they're the same game engine as Link's Awakening, which is part of the beginning, they're part of the 3D era. And then the Four Swords sub-series, which includes the Wind Waker. So Wind Waker is a Four Swords game. And then The Next Generation, starring Patrick Stewart. Like, I don't even think of these games as being, like, a generation of games. Like, that doesn't even make sense to me. And then Rethinking the Conventions of Zelda. Because nothing in any of these previous games did anything to, like, switch up the conventions of Zelda at all. It wasn't until A Link Between Worlds that Nintendo decided to rethink the convention. The wiki is dumb. Fan wikis, guys, look, they have their uses. I'm using one right now for a pretty important purpose. But fan wikis are usually dumb and bad. But yeah, Link Between Worlds. So Triforce Heroes. This is another game I don't really know anything about. So this is it stars the same Link as its so it's like a sequel to A Link Between Worlds. Oh, this is the one where they like stack on top of each other. Like you have like mini Links and they ride on each other's heads. Weird. But does it have dungeons in it? Oh, it looks like it has levels, not dungeons. So a similar... Oh, shop for furniture today. No, I'd rather not. So similar in structure to like the other Four Swords games. So if I'm not going to play the Four Swords games, I should not play this one either, I think. Yeah, I think we can safely pass this one up. I remember the little Mario Maker had a little costume where you played as like 3 Links stacked on top of each other. That was fun. And then Breath of the Wild, obviously, which... I would say that Breath of the Wild only has dungeons in the very most tenuous sense of the word. And I expect like all of the dungeons from this game would rank very low on my tier list, but... and what's this? Remakes and remasters... Spin-off games. So none of these are going to be worth including, I don't think. I don't know. I haven't played any of these either, I don't think. But we'll go through them and see what comes up from them. Link's crossbow training, I don't... I don't see any reason to play this, honestly. It's like a skeet shooting game. It's more like a duck hunt kind of thing, is my understanding. But there's definitely not going to be dungeons or anything worth talking about. Hyrule Warriors. Yeah, this is like based on Dynasty Warriors. I think we can rule that one out as well. Cadence of Hyrule. This is a game that I'd actually considered playing because I really liked, what was it? Curse of the Necrodancer, and this is basically a Zelda version of that. Oh, I didn't know it actually had the Necrodancer character in it. Like, she's actually in this game. Like, it's a crossover. That's weird. So this might be fun to play, but I doubt it'd be actually worth looking into as far as, like, an exploration of Zelda dungeons. I didn't know they made a second Hyrule Warriors game. There are these Tingle games. Ripened Tingle's Balloon Trip of Love. I think we can... Oh, here's the CDI games. There we go. Yeah. We ignore all of these. I don't have any... I don't have any desire to play the CDI games. I liked Necrodancer. I didn't like it as much as the people who really liked it, if that makes sense. Like, I played it, I think I completed it once or twice, and I feel like I got out of it all of the nutrients that I wanted. What would be interesting with Cadence of Hyrule, if I were to play it, was I'm assuming most of the music you're dancing to would be like classic version, or like remixed versions of classic Zelda music. That would be a lot of the draw for me. I also like how they label some of these games as ambiguously canon and non-canon information. Like, come on. Really? Are we saying there is a definitive Zelda canon now that things can be or not be part of? Yeah, I think that's it. This is a choose your own adventure book, and then they've got a list of like canceled games, and obviously we're not going to play any canceled games. So, How many games does that leave us on this list? That leaves us with a list of 16 games. So that's basically everything on this list except for the Four Swords games. Because those are the only games where we feel like they don't have like traditional dungeons or anything that even resembles traditional dungeons. So that leaves Legend of Zelda, Adventure of Link, Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, Wind Waker, Minish Cap, Twilight Princess, Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, Skyward Sword, A Link Between Worlds, and Breath of the Wild. All right. So we're going to have to play through all of these. And as I do, I'll take notes on the dungeons, and then eventually it will all culminate in a big tier list of every single dungeon from a Zelda game that was on this list. I don't think we can say it's definitive because people will be like, you didn't say the thing from Four Swords, and it's kind of a dungeon, which people are going to say anyway. But I guess if they do, I could just point them back to the beginning of this video. Like, remember that time I played Secret of Evermore and I talked about Zelda for an hour instead of playing Secret of Evermore? See, from all the descriptions of Four Swords that I'm reading, it doesn't sound like they have dungeons at all. It sounds like they give you, like, little levels to play through, right? Like in a roguelike kind of game. Like, I'm picturing something like the, like maybe the little puzzle islands from Wind Waker, or like shrines from Breath of the Wild, like little bite-sized content like that is what I'm envisioning. And then Triforce Adventures down, or Triforce Heroes, or whatever it is. The description of that I read made it sound like that was the only content in the game. Like there's nothing to compare the dungeon content to because it was all just dungeon-y kind of levels. I'm not playing the Hyrule Warriors games. Like that's I have no desire to. I've watched videos of people playing them. They definitely don't look like my thing, and there's definitely not Zelda dungeons in them. So my hyperbolic opinion on a Zelda game is that if I'm not in a dungeon or on my way to a dungeon, whatever I'm doing is a waste of time. Zelda dungeons are the pinnacle of the gameplay experience for me. And that's why I ended up like not liking Wind Waker and Twilight Princess as much as most people did. In those games, while I was in the dungeons, I thought they were great. For most of them. I think Twilight Princess had a couple of dungeons that I really thought were questionable. But there's so much of those games, it's like, you just need to be out in the world, and we need you to collect all these ghosts, and you need to go treasure hunting with your little boat, and you got to do that for 5 hours before we'll let you into the next dungeon. Sorry. I can't remember if Phantom Hourglass did that or not. But yeah, see, I'm not interested in the story connections of these games at all. Like 0%. I have not cared about a Zelda story since Ocarina of Time. And the reason that game stands out is because I played it when I was 15. And that game actually invested quite a lot into its own world building and mythology. And it built on a lot of what had come before. Like if you go back in time to 1998 when this game came out, we had a few Zelda games previously, but they kind of didn't fit together in a cohesive story at all. Ocarina of Time kind of unified that a little bit with its own mythology. And you could, oh, well, the other games took place at some point in this like shared mythology, inside this shared world. So it was like really riveting to me, and I really got into it. Also because I was 15. But then, like, they started releasing all these other games. Oracles, Four Swords, like, the Wind Waker came out. And the Wind Waker is just like, okay, just forget all of that. None of that matters. This is the new mythology with, like, this new world that looks different and new. And it's an obviously new version of Link and a new version of Zelda. And Hyrule is completely flooded, and we don't know how that happened. But it definitely doesn't have anything to do with the previous. You can just ignore all of that. It's fine. And then Twilight Princess did that same thing again. So, like, by the time, like, Wind Waker came out, all of the investment I had in this game series as a fictional setting as like a universe to get connected to had already been jettisoned, and it was clear that they were just going to reboot it every couple of years, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but it just means I'm never going to have another connection to a Zelda game the way that I had with Ocarina. It was just the perfect storm at that period of my life, at that moment in Zelda history, and they're not going to recapture that lightning. That ship is long sailed. So I just don't care about the story in this series at all. So, 16 games. I think it's doable. I think we can do it. I think I'm going to get rid of the capture now. And you're going to see a blip in the screen for a second as I switch over my HDMI input and we start playing some Secret Evermore finally. It's not even a matter of timelines or anything, McLean. It's not even a matter of I'm like upset because they broke my Zelda and replaced it. It's just that at that time when I first played Ocarina, it felt like there might be some effort to build Zelda as its own fictional universe that they could build upon as they go. And then with the next couple of games, it was clear that they weren't going to do that. So it was no longer really worth paying attention to the game in the same way that I did with Ocarina. Because I got really into Ocarina. I don't have this leveled up at all. And also I was 15, and it's just things are different when you're 15, you know? You don't connect to fiction the same way at 40 as you do when you were 15. I think that's also just part of it. So there's no monster over here. I remember some of these monsters being like really stupidly strong. Like the fictional universes that to this day I still do have a connection with, like Game of Thrones and like particularly Game of Thrones, I guess, is like because it's been with me for so long and it's very clear that it's all meant to be part of the same world. Like everything that all of the time I've invested into the Game of Thrones books over the years and getting connected with its characters, like it's is meaningful because the same person's still writing it and the same person, whether he'll finish it or not is up in the air, but I can be relatively assured that it's not going to be, yeah, this thing is just really stupid strong for some reason. So I need to cast heal. He's stuck down there. Can I crush him? Got him. Yeah, like I when I play Skyward Sword, like I'm not gonna believe them when they say this is the origin of Ganon, because they've done nothing in the series up to this point to make me actually think that there is like one single solitary creature in this universe named Ganon to have an origin. Like that doesn't even make sense if you've played other Zelda games. Nothing in the Zelda universe can really have an origin because none of it connects to each other anyway. Or the connections it does have are only the most completely tenuous sort of things. Alright, we're in another maze. This is the sewer water maze, which is not my favorite part of the game. But there are enough rats. Like, what happens if we just follow the water for now? Oh, I can get through here. Also, there's a wall that you can walk through somewhere in this dungeon. Ooh, what does honey do? Apparently I already had some. Ah, here we go. I knew there was somewhere to go into the wall. Iron and water. Does heal take water? Because I can heal up poopers and then take this water out of this box. No, apparently it does not. But I really like world building. I really like when fictional universes fit together in a coherent way. Because it rewards you paying attention, you know? Like, it rewards you caring about a world and its characters. And the situations. But if the world stops making sense or gets rebooted or anything, but I lose interest for that reason. That's why I lost interest in Zelda for that reason a long time ago. In fact, I just played, just last night actually, I finished up Unmetal, which is a parody of the Metal Gear Solid games. And that's like a good example of games that I think do this well, is Metal Gear Solid. Like, the writer of Metal Gear Solid, the whole Metal Gear series, almost fastidiously ensured that the games had a coherent narrative with no plot holes and everything makes sense for some particular value of sense. And like, even though it's like really ridiculous, it's not contradictory at any point, which I really enjoyed. I don't want corrosion. I got a biscuit. I'm happy with my biscuit. Oh, this is where we left from, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I don't know, I kind of think about that stuff a lot when I try to decide like what kind of fiction to get into. Like, my wife right now is reading the Wheel of Time books. And I've had people like get on me, like, you gotta read these books, man. I was already out here. You gotta read Wheel of Time, but like, I don't know. Like, I almost feel like I want to interrogate a series, like a book series or something, to make sure it's going to be worth my time and attention. Like, I don't want to get into a fictional universe right now that's not going to reward me actually caring and paying attention to stuff. Actually, I think this came up this way. This was the wrong way. I think that's a dead-end kind of exit there. Like, I feel bad for people who only know Game of Thrones through the TV series. Because, yeah, it had an ending, which is more than we can say for the books. But so much of the HBO series is completely inconsistent with itself that it doesn't reward a viewer for thinking about the series. It, like, almost punishes you for thinking about it. And that's just... I'm not interested in being punished for caring about a series. Actually, there's a series right now. Not right now, but now-ish, a few months ago, the new season of Disenchanted came out. And that's a show that I thought had a lot of potential early on. But, like, as the show goes on, I feel like... Because every time a new season comes out, I rewatch, like, the previous season to catch back up. And it always feels like they're building to some kind of continuity and world building that's going to make sense or reward you for caring. But they never pay anything off. So this new season, I'm watching it, I'm like, I don't have to care about any of this. Like, this is all just pointless nonsense. The writers in that show actively make fun of viewers who care too much about, like, a setting in a world. And this is like a setting in a world that they're putting a lot of work into. And I don't understand the difference there. I almost feel like I can get away to the left up there. We are taking damage in the awful sewer water, by the way. That's how this goes. Yeah, that's the thing, is like, the joke is that nothing pays off. I get that. I get that that's the joke of Disenchantment, and I get that they're poking fun at people who actually care about payoffs, who actually want to be rewarded for paying attention to a series and thinking about it a lot. But, like, if that's not the series they wanted to make, then why did they start making it that way? I'm going to die before I get anywhere, I think. Like, by the time... Oh, that didn't send us back too far, I guess. We're fine. Like, why not just make the series episodic if that's the case? Why not just say, like, okay, you know what? We're just doing an episodic series. It's going to be a fun, like, medieval kind of fantasy world. All right, I definitely think this is the wrong means of going through this dungeon. They've done that every season. They end every season. The last episode is this, like, big storyline episode where, like, major revelations happen and they leave it on this big cliffhanger. And then the next season, they immediately revert everything within half an episode. It's like, well, are you guys trying to build this world? And, like, should I care about it or not? Like, just make Futurama again if that's what you want to do. And I guess that's what they're doing. I guess we're getting new episodes of Futurama, like, which I'm stoked for. I think it'll be great, but yeah, I don't know. Don't make it look like this world is going to reward me for caring about it, and then very pointedly not care about it yourself. Because nothing else connected to this route here. Oh no, I've been over here before. Treble, I think it's abundantly clear that if I knew where the exit door was, I wouldn't be in this situation. Oh god, we can't go out that way at all. I've been down here as well, haven't I? Yes, I have. I thought the exit was just out here on the mountainside, right? I thought this was the exit. But there doesn't seem to be a way down. So I thought I had to make my way down to that pipe there. Also, I remember there being an explodable barrier that we need a new axe to break. Okay, so this guy is... He hasn't saved my game. It's probably bad to save in here anyway. Oh, no, that is where we were supposed to go. Oh, we're not escaping down into the mountain yet. We need to get captured by the queen again. That's right. I was missing a whole story beat here. No, we get captured by the queen and then she forces us to go across the gully. I thought we were going to escape down in the gully and come up the other side. So I was looking for the entire wrong exit of the place. Do I smell something? Well, my dog's name is Professor Pooper. Procepher Pooper. Procepher is the word that I'm looking for. That fireplace down there on the floor below us has no chimney. I don't know where that smoke is going. Another castle in the kingdom. So the queen and her 7 chins want us to go drop the drawbridge so she can invade the castle. Ah, yes, the key. So if you don't get that key from the Professor Pooper section of the castle, when Poopers is down in the vents, you cannot open any of the doors. There was a box in there. Wax. I don't know, sometimes it gives you your weapon in these little connecting scenes, and sometimes it doesn't, which is a little strange. So all these doors should open now. Found a biscuit. And even if you switch to Poopers, it won't let you go back down the hole. But yeah, oh man, Unmetal. I just finished it up last night, and so it's supposed to be like a parody of Metal Gear games. Like the gameplay is very similar to like the MSX Metal Gear 2. And the writing is horrific. It's awful. Oh, it's so bad. The writing feels like somebody played some of the other Metal Gear Solid games. Actually, I'm going to use the key before I give it back to the guy. I think once we give it back, we can't get into these rooms anymore. But yeah, like the jokes in this Unmetal game and just the sense of humor in it is so... It feels like somebody played a bunch of the old Metal Gear Solid games, didn't understand what made them feel silly, like didn't understand the style of humor that the games had, but was trying to recapture it in like a parody game, and they really think they nailed it. And they really didn't. Okay, well, we're not going this way yet. The gameplay was excellent. I really liked Unmetal start to finish. Had like 10 levels in it. So it's actually structured a little more like the Game Boy Color Metal Gear Ghost Babel than any of the Metal Gear Solid games. But There's so much story and writing, because lol, Metal Gear Solid games always have a million cutscenes, right? So we got to have a million cutscenes in our game. And lol, Metal Gear Solid games, the guy repeats questions a lot to people, right? So we got to make sure to do that 50 times, lol. It's like, I think you have to understand, you know what I mean? You have to really understand source material before you can effectively parody it. And the guys who made Unmetal did not understand Metal Gear at all. As far as like the tone of it, as far as like, because the games are definitely like, they feel weird, right? There's no question to that. The games have a very surreal quality to them, but they were trying to parody that, and it just wasn't effective. I did like the gameplay, though. I'll definitely be playing the games again. I want to do a second run through the game, because I missed secrets in every single level. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go through the game again and try to get secrets, right? Like, I thought all the boss fights were... They actually really nailed the boss fights, especially, feel almost exactly like boss fights in Metal Gear 2. Because that game has boss fights where, like, every boss in Metal Gear 2, that's Metal Gear 2, not Metal Gear Solid 2. But every boss fight has, like, a gimmick, right? And if you understand the gimmick, you can win the boss fight. If you don't understand the gimmick, you will die in 2 hits. So, it really nailed that. It's not going to be everybody's favorite thing, but I thought it was fine. I'm going to give this guy his key back now. Now that I've opened all the rooms. That's a feather and a jewel or something. But I don't need any other... Yeah, why like buy a bunch of brimstone and stuff when I can just use Crush for the whole game? Like, I think I can actually articulate really well something that I thought worked from the game from a gameplay perspective, but the humor was bad. So the game has a quick save system. Like, you go to the bathroom. Anytime you go to a bathroom in the game, you can save the game. That's just how the save system works. So when you pee, you save the game, basically. And you can get these little porta potties that you carry with you. And if you're on a relatively safe screen, you can use your porta potty to drop a quick save. And then every time you reach an actual bathroom, you empty all of your porta potties into the toilet so you can use them again. So you get as many quick saves as you are holding porta potties, right? That's how the game is structured. But you can only hard save at actual bathrooms. And those bathrooms are also what completely reset the amount of quick saves you have. So it's a good system. It's a lot better than Metal Gear 2, where you just save your game at certain points, and you might end up having to replay huge parts of the game if you have to reset, which happens a lot, because it's a stealth game, and you're going to reset a lot, as just kind of part of how the game works. But the joke of this all being attached to, like, porta potties that you're carrying around is really dumb. And it's like, yeah, Metal Gear Solid games have had jokes like that, where, like, you've got to go into the bathroom and look for stuff, or, like, there's a part in Metal Gear Solid 2, like, where you can get peed on by a guard because you don't want to make noise and alert the guard that he's there. And it feels like that was what they were aiming for, but none of the potty jokes in Metal Gear Solid games are just, haha, potty jokes funny. And that's exactly what this porta potty system is. Don't get me wrong, potty jokes are funny, but it's just not the kind of humor that Metal Gear Solid has. Like the joke in Metal Gear Solid 2 where Raiden gets peed on. It's not like, lol, it's funny because he's getting peed on. It's like, you call your colonel and your colonel's like, oh, Raiden, my condolences. It's a rough situation, man. Well, you know, That's why they call it the wet works. Like, it's this weird character moment where one character like has been through this kind of thing before. Like, yeah, this is really gross and terrible that you're getting peed on right now, but dude's got to pee sometimes, and you just happen to be standing in the way that that's happening, and you're not in a position where you can make a lot of noise or really get away from it. So it like used the pee joke as like the vehicle for this weird character moment. It was really bizarre. I don't know, the porta potty thing in Unmetal just doesn't do the same thing. It's just lol pee funny, and that's it. Oh, this guy's here now. The other thing the game does kind of badly from a gameplay perspective, I can... Yeah, save the game finally. Like, it has a lot of inventory puzzles, which Metal Gear 2 also had a lot of inventory puzzles, but they're just bad inventory puzzles. It's like... Wait, hold on. There's a gimmick to this dungeon I gotta remember first. Any screen with a little gremlin owl on it is the correct path through the dungeon. But we want to go to the second part of the forest. There's going to be a boss fight halfway through. Then the second part of the forest, we need to find the little gremlin guy again. And he'll give us a relic. Okay, I think that's how it goes. So yeah, in Metal Gear 2, you have inventory puzzles. Like, you find items, you've got to figure out how to use them in the game world. And a lot of these were very subversive. Like, you have to use items in ways that you wouldn't expect, really. Whereas in Unmetal, it's like, oh, you need an inventory thing here. So there's like 2 or 3 just useless items hidden in this level. And then you just combine them together to make the thing you need. And that's the extent of every inventory puzzle in the game. So there was no sense of like building up a tool set over the whole length of the game, like having tools that you would use repeatedly or could find creative uses for. In fact, there's one level... Yeah, this is the wrong screen. There's no like gremlin in the tree here. There's one level where the guy just throws away almost everything in his inventory and says he's not going to need it anymore. And some of the stuff he throws away are like actual interesting gameplay tools. So like instead of letting me keep the tools and try to find creative uses for them and building creative uses for them into the game, which is a big part of every Metal Gear game, they just delete the items and you're not allowed to have them anymore. Like, imagine playing a Zelda game, and after, like, Dungeon 4, Link just throws away, like, his boomerang and his hookshot and his hammer, because the developer knows that you don't need a boomerang, hookshot, or hammer for the last couple dungeons. That's what it felt like. It was a bad moment. Other than those things, though, I think the gameplay was great. The combat always felt good. The stealth feels really good. The rules about the stealth are very, very clear, which I like to see. This is a gremlin screen. Am I still using the same spear? I am. I have not gotten any weapons yet from this era. You get all the armor pretty much right away, but none of the weapons. Alright, alright. I see how it's going to be. If it's like that, you know? Beautiful Gruelville, 25 leagues west. Sounds beautiful. Would love to check out Gruelville. This is just a beautiful tile set, by the way. This game looks amazing when it's really on point. I just love the look and feel of this forest. I've mapped it all out, too. Like, you can actually... You don't have to solve it by noticing the gremlins in the trees. You can solve it by mapping it all out, and I've done that a couple times. Yeah, like even the framing device that Unmetal uses, where like he's telling the story to this like this commanding officer that's got him in captivity. Like it's an interrogation scene that it keeps coming back to. I would like to stop missing this man, please. Alright. He wants to play it this way. Have a gigantic fist. There you go. This is the wrong screen because there's no gremlin. Then, like, later in the game, it cuts away from the first framing device to a second framing device with, like, an even further part in the future where he's telling the story to another person. And at that moment, I'm like, oh, okay, so this, like, the big twist at the end of this game is going to be XYZ. And I guessed the big twist there. And then I was right. So, and that's never satisfying. When you see, like, oh, wouldn't it be really stupid if they did this thing as a joke with this second framing device? And then that's the thing that they do at the end of the game. Like, it was really unsatisfying. Was there a gremlin on this screen? Yes, there he is. Where there are owls versus where there are no owls. See, I would play the game again, but the story leaves a lot to be desired. And the story is a big part of all the Metal Gear games. Oh, there's a sign. Halfway. Does that mean this is where my boss fight is? Or are we just halfway through this part of the forest? Is there a gremlin on this screen? No, this is the wrong way. It probably doesn't help that I'm hypersensitive to people like making fun of Metal Gear and how stupid it is. Like, I get it. I also think Metal Gear games are stupid, but the tone of something is very different if, like, you're making fun of something because it's something that you love versus it being something that you don't like very much because you think it's stupid. And it's the latter that really comes across in this game. Did I not? Hold on. This is halfway, yeah. I got lost. I got turned around. So this is a gremlin screen. There he is. But I didn't see a gremlin on this screen. And there's not one on this screen. So this is definitely the wrong way. What other exits were there to this screen? I think I thought I took both exits and didn't see a gremlin either time. Yeah, there's no gremlin on that screen. Oh, there's one on this screen, though. Okay, so maybe they skipped a screen. I don't know. And now we must kill all of the gremlins. I got 48 more crushes, buddy. Get him, poopers. I thought Poopers was going to finish him off there, but he did not. You need a heal, my friend. I should get a weapon for this. Crusader sword. Well, alright then. 30 attack power. It's not better than my spear, though. I'd rather level the spear up so I can throw it. More than 3 times stronger than yourself. Well, he wasn't throwing out big fists, so... And I think we no longer get hints on where to go from the little gremlins, because we have killed them all now. Oh, no, there still are gremlins. Weird. We have to go off the beaten path now, so I'm going to, like, left-hand wall this, I think. Looking for my little monster friend. I could look up a map, I guess. I want to say he's on a left-facing screen. That's a dead end. That's a dead end. Oh, you can definitely get lost in these forests. I know that because I've had conversations with people in the past who have quit the game here because they got lost in the forests. Which is like, even if you don't notice the trick with the gremlins in the trees and realize that the gremlins are pointing your way forward, like, you can still map it. Like, you can still draw a map. It's not impossible. Actually, I'm going to check this before we go. This is just one long noodle. No, that loops back to the beginning. Okay. I don't think this game came with any sort of walkthrough in the US. I think it just came with a standard kind of instruction manual. But it is a part in the game that I know a lot of players didn't like very much, was getting lost in these woods. I mean, I enjoy the process of, like, mapping, though. Like, I played a lot of RPGs in my life where I've mapped stuff out, which didn't really require it. I just kind of did it for the love of the game. Okay, that's a dead end. But you can always tell if you're on the right path by looking for gremlins in the trees. Like this, I know this screen is wrong. I mean, first of all, it's a dead end, so it must be wrong. But second of all, there was no gremlin there. Oh, there was no gremlin here either. Was there another exit to this screen? Maybe this is not the convention anymore. Oh, no, there was another exit right there. Okay, fair enough. Mountains of candy, 50 furlongs. Sounds yummy. Oh, that was the exit. Well, I didn't want the exit yet. I hope it lets me back down in. We're going to get yet another weapon now? That seems unfair that that fireball came out after the boss was dead. Ah, we got a new spear. Excellent. Plus 10 attack power. Yeah, we were not quite done in here yet. There's a monster that we saved from the well that if we find in this dungeon will give us an item. So we come up this way. You have to leave like the beaten path of the dungeon to find him. You can't find him if you just follow the gremlins. I don't know where else I haven't been in the second half of the forest. The second half of the woods is a lot smaller than the first half. Oh, is there more forest after the dragon? I didn't think there was. I thought after the dragon we were coming up the other side. We're not locked out of this area, so if we miss the guy, we can always come back later. Right, because we need an axe to get up through there. But yeah, now we're on the other side here. We're coming up the sewers of the other castle. So, I'm just gonna look at a map. Let's just cheat. Yeah, here we go. Here's a good map. Bear with me a moment as I kind of look through this. Some of these maps are not even for Secret Evermore. What is this? What the butts? Why is that image saved as a PDF? I don't want a PDF. Can I just get like a ping or something? Please? That's not just a thumbnail for Pinterest. No. None of these maps are usable. They're all just they're all just terrible. That's a map of a different forest in Secret of Evermore. I just want to confirm if this guy is in the first or second part of the forest. That's all I'm trying to do here. Yeah, I don't know. None of these maps look usable to me, and none of them have the information that I want. So I'm just going to leave him there, and we will just let him rot in that forest forever. So this dungeon has places that we need the axe from this world to reach. Because they've got these barriers everywhere. Whatever the Goblin Man has that we freed, like, it's not mission critical. We don't need it to complete the game at all. It's just like a nice little side quest you can do. I wonder if this sewer maze is the same layout as the other one, just with different obstacles instead of water. No, because there's that room there that we have to find a way into by pressing against one of the walls somewhere. It'd be kind of cool if it was the same layout and just instead of the water as an obstacle, you've got something else. Feels like I can do some real damage with my regular attack now, all of a sudden. Now that I got that nice upgrade. I wonder why swords are so bad in this game. Like, that sword we just got was not even upgraded in attack power over the spear we'd been using since, like, halfway through Antiqua. Antiqua. It's a good word. Alright, is this where we need to go? That it is. Is this another one of those monsters that's going to do like a 9,000 damage to me for no reason? Come here, raptor friend. Where'd he go? I chased him into oblivion. Nice splat. Oh, it's this thing again. I'm not playing around with you, my friend. Lock Ed. That won't open. That won't budge. I don't even get a message or anything from this one. It just doesn't open. Oh, this guy's still alive. That's probably why. Is he still alive? I didn't see him die. I didn't hear him die. I can't target him with magic, so he's not on screen. There we go. That was the trigger, though. Alright, here we are in Ebon Keep. There's no marketplace area of Ebon Keep. We can't even go up that way. Only one of these houses should be accessible right now, actually. Ah, yes. Everybody's favorite cameo. If you've never played Secret Evermore before, this is a famous Squaresoft character who's making a cameo in this game. See if you can guess who it is. I'm going to step away for 2 minutes. I'll be right back. If you guessed that this character is Cecil from Final Fantasy IV, then you've clearly played this game before. But that doesn't even resemble Cecil's sprite. Have you heard of my victory over Zeramis? Of course. So he and Rosa moved to Ebon Keep after going to the moon. I don't think he can sell me anything. Oh, this collar. Yes, we'll buy that. No, we already have it. Oh, maybe we do need to buy this stuff. He also gives us a bazooka for no reason. I want to make sure that the stuff he's selling is better than what... Oh, yeah, by quite a lot. Okay, so yeah, he's selling the best equipment we can get here. Oh, I didn't mean to buy that. Oh, well. Now I have 2 collars. We have a bazooka, which... we have 1 thunderball for it. I don't like the bazooka because aiming is bad in this game. And if you miss, you just waste the projectile. Okay, so we're done with Cecil forever. It does a lot of damage if you connect with it, but actually connecting with it is... I mean, the game doesn't really have collision detection that makes sense, unfortunately. Down into the castle basement. I love the look of this guy. King of the rats, I tell ya. This is every boss fight for the rest of the game, pretty much. Like... No, I mean, this game predates the merger with Square and Enix, so it couldn't be the Dragon Quest hero. I love the music here, though. I don't know if we have to actually go into these dark areas or not. I forget what's in there if we do go. Like, there's clearly stuff in here, but I'm not really interested in going into this dark world. We have freed the castle from the Rat King. Keep in mind that all I've done to become this overpowered is just use the crush spell a lot. I've just leveled it up to like level 5 or 6 or something. That's all you have to do to become overpowered in this game. Here's the real Queen Blue Garden. The 2 Dr. Ids. Oh, I love how goofy the plot in this area of the game is. Presented the king with a hypnotic puppet show which sent him into a trance. Keeping in mind that like one of the people who stayed here is literally intergalactic superhero Cecil Harvey from Final Fantasy IV. Like, why can't he solve this problem for her? Whatever Idiot Sandwich can do, clearly Cecil could do. Maybe Cecil's because Cecil doesn't know Crush, I guess. Yeah, couch potato state is like my permanent state of being as well. Except for the 20 to 40 minutes a day I spend doing my stretch exercises. Camellia. Alright, so Camellia. Then there's a boss fight blocking off Tinker's tower for whatever reason. Not much of a boss fight. Yeah, Queen Blue Garden got some pretty good shelf butt going on. Those guys were a pain in the glass. Whew. Wow. That one line was funnier than the entirety of Unmetal. Tinker Tinderbox. This is another great track, by the way. This game has such good music. I kind of wish it lets you look through the telescope and see the space station. I would like to see like the outer shape of it. I don't know what the next Final Fantasy game I'll play is. Name somebody Podunk. Well, if it's like a run of Final Fantasy 1, I won't be able to because it's only 4 letters. I mean, considering we've got 16 Zelda games on the docket to play. I think we're going to be Zelda-ing for quite a long time. Okay, what do I need to buy here? I need to look at my Alchemy menu and refresh my memory of... I need wax and limestone, neither of which I can buy from this guy. So we're gonna have to be careful with our brimstone usage or our crush usage. We've got 26 shots of it left. After we get through this next story beat, though, we've got another dungeon to go through, and then we go fight the boss of this region. And then after that, we'll be able to fly back and get limestone anytime we want. Majora's Mask has a lot of things going for it, but I love dungeons in Zelda games. Like, the dungeon experience is what I like most about those games. So Majora's Mask kind of doesn't do it for me. But I understand, like, it does weird things that'll resonate with a lot of people better than it resonated with me. I think we're done here. I think we got the Night Basher, so we can break. And it's still not as good as the spear. I did do 100% in Majora's Mask when it was new back in the day. Like, we got it on N64. So I've done a full clear of the game, including filling up, like, the whole logbook. And there's a lot of mileage you can get out of just the, like, the time loop mechanic. Like, that's a really good mechanic you can actually do a lot with. And I think the game does a good job of it. Of course, I have since played better time loop games. Obviously. Oh, I guess that's just another way to get into the castle, then. Wait, were we not supposed to be able to go in this main gate? It feels like we weren't supposed to come into the main gate. Like, the main gate should have been closed when we were supposed to come up through the dark area. Well, whatever. We're going back to... the ravine. Wait, how do I get down there? I don't think we can get down there the way we came. I think there's got to be a passage up here in the castle. Yeah, that's one of the things that... one of the reasons Majora's Mask didn't completely grab me was... it trades the dungeon content for, like, other kinds of content. Which is fine, but I really like dungeons best. You know? Yeah, this is what I was looking for. So now we go back down here. And now we can get through these walls. I think I got stuck here the first time I played this game. Because, like, I saved my game and then I didn't play it for a couple days or whatever. And when I came back, like, I knew that they wanted me to go see the guy, like, his brother in the tower, but I had no idea where to go to get there. And backtracking into the sewer didn't really occur to me. Because I'm not the smartest man in the world. There's gotta be treasure or something in here, though, right? Let's just do another lap around here. And then we should go back into the forest and look for the goblin. Yeah, there's treasure boxes. So one of these doors must open a passage into there. There's another one. Doesn't feel like I'm opening up new areas here. It feels like I'm just opening up shortcuts between areas. But yeah, a lot of the story content in Majora's Mask wasn't as meaningful to me when I first played it, because it doesn't connect back to Ocarina in any way, which was a game that was very meaningful to me. Oh, there we go. And then... like, it uses a lot of the same assets and things, which gives the game this kind of, like, bizarre, dreamlike quality. Which works pretty well for what it is, but... I had a harder time caring about the world in general in Majora's Mask because I did in Ocarina. And then there's only a couple of dungeons, and they're very far apart. Like, you have to go through a lot of shenanigans before you get to the dungeons. No, we need to go back outside. Oh, somebody rebuilt the barricades since we were here last. But I think I found the other secret passage. Oh, never mind. Oh my god, what does that even lead to? That didn't go anywhere useful. This blob, though. Get out of here. Pooper, how did you miss him? Okay, I do think we want to be going this way, though. Gold coins. Do we not? We were just in this dungeon like 20 minutes ago. You would think I would know how to get through it. You'd be wrong, but you'd think that. Yeah, I guess not. Thought it was like the bottom center of the map-ish. That's where I'm trying to reach, but everything loops back up to the top left. Let's head for the bottom right. Let's see if I can get to the bottom right of the map, and then work our way down from there. Oh, we haven't got our way into that treasure room yet either. We could probably trace the black space around the pipes to see where it must lead to. Like how it must connect up. Yeah, I thought we entered from down here somewhere, but now we're just looping up around the left side again. Pooper is 22. I don't know where he just ran off to right there. Ah, this looks correct. Yeah, there we go. Alright. Man, if you like rubbing up against walls looking for secrets, you will love Tunic. Because that is every single secret in Tunic. I'm going to right-hand wall this, looking for the goblin. I guess I immediately left the right-hand wall, didn't I? Just making sure none of these like dead-end rooms actually have side paths that I didn't notice. I hated Tunic. My God. Although I checked, I was drafting a post I'm writing to put up on my blog, and when I do that, I will paste it into like my blog's interface, right? And I noticed that, like, I very rarely get a lot of comments on any blog post, but I got a bunch of them. I got like a dozen posts on my last blog about Tunic. Not from people who were upset about Tunic, but from Dark Souls fans defending Dark Souls. Because I spend a lot of that post talking about, like, comparing Tunic to Dark Souls. Oh my God, the Dark Souls fanboys are they're such precious snowflakes. They're like porcelain dolls. If you criticize their game, they get so mad. I spend a lot of time reading like video game subreddits, like the Final Fantasy subreddit's one of my favorites. And like you get people that'll go on there. And so it's really easy to find posts like, I don't like this Final Fantasy game. This Final Fantasy game is crap. And a lot of the time people are just like real live and let live about it. I don't know if it's like because of the moderation on the Reddit or whatever, but it feels like Final Fantasy fans can totally handle you not liking their favorite game. And it's fine. Like, yeah, you know what, man? Not everybody got into Final Fantasy 13. It's cool. It's not for everybody. Try one of the other ones. But, dude, if you criticize Dark Souls, they will come out of the woodwork and find you. And then call you all kinds of names. It's really funny. There's just something so toxic about that fan base. Oh, it's this kid. I'll save here, I guess. Might as well. But like, yeah, if you go on like this, like a Zelda forum or something, and you go like, hey, you know what? I didn't really like Majora's Mask, and here's why. People would probably be like, oh, I get it. Like, Majora's Mask, it's not for everybody. I get it. It's fine. But I doubt you would get people being like, if you don't like Majora's Mask, it's because you're stupid. Here, hold on a second. I'd like to... Some of these comments were just unreal. Let me pull one up. I think I'll find a good choice one and read it. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. This is hilarious. So my argument about Tunic was that it has reflex-based challenges that are really super tight. Like, we're talking under 300 milliseconds or so. My reaction time hovers around like 450 milliseconds, which is about half a second. Like, anything in a video game that requires you to react to, like dodging out of the way of an attack or like hitting a button at a particular time, if the time between I like see the thing to the time I need to react to it is greater than like 3/4 of a second, I'm not going to be able to do it consistently, just because that's how my brain works. My brain is wired to my eyeballs worse than in most people. Like the average reaction time is something like 250 to 270. I'm at about 450. So that's why I hated Tunic. I couldn't fight the bosses in Tunic. The bosses, their attacks came out too fast, and I had a bad time with it. And I compared it to Dark Souls. And then all the Dark Souls fanboys found the posts. This one guy, this is my favorite. Anonymous. Guy didn't sign his name or anything. Doesn't have the conviction to like put his face to his words. So it says dodging in Dark Souls has nothing to do with reaction time, that's just false. I don't know what to tell you. That's just not true. You have to learn the timing and dodge in advance, which is also false. There are Dark Souls bosses, and in Tunic especially, where that's just not true. If you dodge in advance, you've dodged too early, and you will just lose the fight. I've watched really in-depth descriptions of Dark Souls bosses that go into detail about bosses' attack patterns and things. And yeah, you can't dodge. If you try to guess in advance what attack is coming out and guess wrong, you'll just get hit. So this guy is just not telling the truth. That's why bosses have long wind-up animations. They don't in Dark Souls. Some of them have very short wind-up animations. Dodging on reaction is too late. That's correct. Another example of you failing, you being me in this case, because of being too stupid to comprehend a mechanic. That's me. That's super stupid face here. Too dumb to understand how to push a button. If Dark Souls is too hard, it means you are just stupid, not that you have bad reaction time. That's my favorite comment ever. I love that. I'm going to go to this guy's blog. I'm going to say something just blatantly untrue about the game he criticized. And then I'm going to call him stupid. Everything about that comment is just hilarious. Yeah, you do. You kind of want to just give him a hug. Be like... Be like, hey, man... You need some buttered noodles? Want me to make some chicken tenders for you? Like, PB&J maybe? Cartoons are on. You want to go watch cartoons? But that's like a mild comment. I've seen much worse from Dark Souls fans, but I just don't get it. What is it about those games in particular that breed such a toxic fan base? So toxic that you can't even handle criticism of the game. By the way, he's just wrong. Like, Dark Souls style games are entirely based on your reaction time. That's why I can't play them. I have extensive experience trying to play those games and games that are similar to them. Like Hollow Knight and Tunic. and Bloodborne. Like, the reason I can't play these games is because my reaction time is awful. By the time I push the button to dodge the extremely fast and aggressive monsters, I've already taken damage. It's already too late. I don't even know what it would, like, what would it look like if somebody is too stupid to dodge? Like, what does that even look like? I need to find a map for this, if I'm going to find this guy. Because I don't feel like mapping it myself right now. There's a Secret of Evermore wiki? Really? Shop for furniture today. This doesn't have a map, though. Oh, maybe it does. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, here we go. This is exactly what I need. See, I don't even think my reaction time is a personal flaw. Like, it is bad, but, like, okay, I just played Link's Awakening, and Link's Awakening has a color dungeon. The entire dungeon is made out of color puzzles. In the Game Boy version of that, the Game Boy Color version, if you're colorblind, you just can't play the dungeon. You just can't, because you can't distinguish the red from the blue or the red from the green on the screen. You just can't. So in the Switch version of the game, what they did is all the puzzle elements also have shapes on them. So instead of just being red and blue, like the red will have like a swirl and the blue will have like a circle or something. So they look visibly different even if you can't distinguish the colors. Like, imagine somebody playing the original Link's Awakening color dungeon and being like, man, I couldn't get through this dungeon and I had to give up on it because I'm colorblind and I can't see the colors. And then having somebody respond, no, you're just too stupid to understand the mechanic. It has nothing to do with seeing colors. That's the same argument, isn't it? Like, surely it is. You're just too stupid. Alright, I want to go up here. And then right. And then up. Oh, you know what? I was looking for the wrong screen. This has the Oglin on a right-facing dead end, not a left-facing dead end. Whoops. Turns out I'm dumb and bad. Oh, this should be the screen here. Unless I didn't free the Oglin. Maybe I didn't free the Oglin. I must not have, because that's supposed to be the screen where he lives. Yeah, we must not have freed him. Oh, well. Well, this is all a big waste of time, then. See, I haven't seen anybody complain about the color dungeon changes in Link's Awakening for Switch, but if they do, like, I just don't understand their problem with it. It's like, I can't imagine the mental gymnastics you have to go through. Like, how little self-worth must you have that you have to tie your identity to a game existing in a particular state without accessibility options? I just don't understand it. Every game that like modern AAA game that I've played in the last 5 or 6 years at least has had extensive accessibility options, except for Dark Souls and Bloodborne. They just don't have much of anything. So yeah, I don't understand it. And anybody who says that the change, like the color dungeon change, is bad is just wrong. I'm willing to stake my my flag on that. They're just wrong. It is wrong to be against accessibility options in video games. I feel like Horizon, the new Horizon game, which I still haven't completed. I got to get back and finish that. But like, I feel like it had like 3 full screens of various accessibility options. Stuff like aim assist, and in addition to difficulty settings and like color blindness settings and like flickering lights and the size of subtitles, like all of that can be changed. And it's because the team that made that game went into the game like with that as one of their goals. Like, one of our goals is to make this game as accessible as we can to as many players as we can. And From Software just purposely doesn't do that. And their main fan base, like their core fan base, champions them not doing that, to the point where some of them are like, I'll stop playing Dark Souls games if they ever add accessibility options. I've seen a bunch of Dark Souls fans say, yeah, the day they add accessibility options is the day I stop buying Souls games. Like, I can't imagine that. I can't think of a video game that I enjoy, that I really, really love, that I would start to hate if it were more accessible. I'm trying to think of what that would even be like, and I can't think of it. Like Super Metroid with better mapping options would be a better game. Or like a version of Super Metroid with not as many like flashing lights that can trigger light sensitivity issues. Like, do other games have, like, I guess it is true, like, other games do have toxic fan bases like that. Like, obviously, I don't have any connection to, like, the Call of Duty community or other multiplayer games like that. I don't play any of the MMOs these days. It's been 20 years since I've been on, like, the World of Warcraft forums or whatever, but... Are we at the top of this dungeon already? I thought this dungeon was longer than that. Okay. That's fine. I deserve that. But yeah, imagine... Like, what does that even look like? You're too stupid to get the mechanic on how to dodge. It's like, wacky shack. I'll bet I'm smarter than that guy, too. Like, part of what I talked about in that Tunic post was, like, how games don't have good puzzles. Like, game developers are so scared that they're going to alienate players. They don't put, like, actual good puzzles in their games. Every puzzle in most games is just... this really just pedestrian square peg into square hole kind of experience. And anything more than that, people start declaring BS. Like, I went through that with Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild has all these shrines, and people are like, oh, the puzzle shrines are great. Are they? They're pretty pedestrian, and they're kind of just boring... basic item interactions. Is that really good puzzle content? I don't think so. Maybe everybody else is just too stupid to get it. I would never say that to another person. I would never say somebody is too stupid to know what a good puzzle is because they like Breath of the Wild. Because that would be rude and mean and uncivil. But I'm not a Dark Souls fan, so... I feel like this tower is much, much shorter than it usually is. See, the kind of like really cryptic, like best ending kind of stuff where like you have to make really obscure choices through the kind of game. I like that kind of stuff. And I've navigated games before where I've figured that kind of stuff out for myself that other people like really struggle with. And like, how do you even know how to do that without a walkthrough? In my life, I've solved a lot of things in games that the common consciousness of game players insist require a walkthrough. So I'm convinced I'm just better at that sort of thing than the average player is. And it's just my cross to bear. Like, they're never going to make a mainstream game that really appeals to that sort of puzzle solving that can really excite me, because if they did, they would alienate everybody else. And that's what From Software does, just with monster fights instead of puzzle solving and such. Because they build boss fights that you can't win if you see and react to things differently from the average person. If your reaction time is as bad as mine, you just can't play Dark Souls games. If you don't see things... God, I read somebody's article about, I think, Dark Souls 3. Or maybe just the DLC in Dark Souls 3. I can't remember now. But they have a form of blindness where shades of gray look too inconsistent to them. Like, it's not... I think it might be related to color blindness. I don't remember what it was called. But the game is so much silver and white and gray that just reading the screen became super difficult for them, because the game just doesn't have enough contrast in its colors, and there's no option in the game to do anything about that. So they just can't see the game the way most people can usually see them, and playing them is like a real chore. It's really hard. So they have a similar situation to me, but related to a different aspect of their vision. And From Software, like, just will not ever, under any circumstances, make their games more accessible to people that have disabilities or who just perceive things in different ways to people. They're just not interested in it. They have a core fan base who insists that they be inaccessible as possible, and they're just going to cater to them. Yeah, it's so funny to me that anywhere I go on the internet, and if I criticize Dark Souls, I will get the fanboys. The fanboys will show up like clockwork to defend their game that nobody is ever allowed to dislike for any reason, because they're too stupid to get it. I've been called other things. Stupid is actually pretty mild in the sense of things I've been called because I don't like Dark Souls games. I wanted to be up in the castle, right? Gotta be in a particular room in the castle, I guess. This is the banquet hall. So I actually did the experiment. Shortly after I wrote that Tunic post, I actually did the... I don't want to be over here. I actually did the experiment. I went back into Dark Souls, and I really tried again. And I got roadblocked in the same place. I tried a different build. I tried a build that I thought had been recommended to me as being pretty easy. Like, some people said that build would be good for me. And I got roadblocked on the same boss. I understand how the boss works. I know what the boss's attacks are. I know what the game wants me to do to dodge them, and I just can't do it. By the time I see the wind-up of the attack, it's too late. Here we go. This is where we want to be. The demonic puppet show. Oh, you know what? We should have came out here beforehand, because we could have had this whole conversation with the king watching the puppet show. We just missed out on it because I'm bad. Alright, leave me alone. I gotta remember to chain my crushes. There we go. Like, a lot of people criticize Secret Evermore. This is not a widely beloved game. I mean, I love it, but most people who know of this game, even a lot of people who played it back in the day, don't think of it very highly. It's not regarded as, like, a classic title. I'm definitely in the minority of opinion of, like, I think this is the best game to use the Secret of Mana style engine. That's not a popular opinion, but I don't, like, go around the internet like looking for people who criticize Secret of Evermore and like making fun of them. I wouldn't like... I can't imagine why you would do that. I'm out of crush. I'm so sad. What else do I have? Nah, that's not worth it. Oh, we got him. That 28 damage fireball did the trick. Woo! You think so, Treble? You think this game is better regarded than I'm thinking? I don't think so. I mean, I've had a lot of interactions in the past where people don't like this game very much. A lot of people back in the day, and then like the 10 years or so after it came out, the prevailing opinion was that like we got this crap game instead of the real sequel to Secret of Mana. A lot of people would have rather had that sequel and see this game as like, oh, we got that instead, and we weren't allowed to have Secret of Mana. Which I don't think was actually true. Like, that wasn't actually part of the thought process. But Her Majesty has damaged the Foundation. Does the whole castle come down now? The fact that you can't play it 2-player. There is a mod for it. I've done it. There's a playthrough on my channel from like 10 years ago where I play online with a friend of mine. And there are quite a lot of mazes, but like the big maze-like areas didn't bother me because I actually like that kind of thing in games. And I don't think the gameplay in this game is quite as janktacular as Secret of Mana, especially. Or Trials of Mana, now that I've tried to play that. This is number 33 on the GameFAQs list of top 100 SNES games. Then this game has got a resurgence of popularity at some point in the past decade or so that I was not aware of. Which I think is great. I think it's very good that people have apparently discovered this game in the past... Oh, crap. I'm not supposed to be down here. I'm always glad when like a game that I like that isn't well thought of at the time, like eventually finds its audience. Maybe that's happened with Secret of Evermore, and I'm just not... I wasn't aware. The fact that Secret of Mana is 20 places higher on that list is kind of a bummer, though, because I think this is just the better game all the way through. So I guess I was supposed to stay up in the castle. The king ran out of the castle, and I thought I was following him. I think Trials is bad. Like, Trials of Mana... or Seiken Densetsu 3 or whatever we're calling it. Like, I think it's just awful. It's in an unplayably bad state. Why is this whole castle? Oh, I guess she destroyed the whole castle. It's all gone now. Yeah, I thought we were going to get to Ebon by going down in front of the city, but no, we're going to go down this way. Because now the whole bridge across the chessboard should just be open, I think. Like, I think we just go straight across now. Yeah, there we go. Let's kind of feel our way through here. Call bead. I feel like that top 5 is probably pretty good. Well, Super Mario World, though, and not like Yoshi's Island. It's kind of strange. I mean, I wouldn't put a lot of stock in those lists anyway, because that's just a popularity contest, right? You're not really asking what are the best games. You're asking what are the games most people have played. Okay, so the queen's happy with me now. I should be able to go get my flying machine. So we got to collect stuff from the previous areas. To finish the rocket ship. I am not seeing my tip pop-ups. My apologies. I'm very appreciative of the tips. I do like them a lot. And for some reason, my alert box is not popping up properly. But yes, thank you very much. Oh, we got a flying machine now. So A is up. I wish we could get a more top-down look at the world. Because this is all of Gothica here. Like, this is... we can get this map here. Like, what is... that must be the well, right? That's the well that we came up, and then we took the path up into the castle keep. Across the checkerboard into the other keep. Over here is the prehistoric plateau. And then over here is the big desert. Nobilia. Is there a map? Yeah, there's a map. It's not much of a map. It's not, like, big or anything. Then there's this island here. Like, it's too bad we can't do anything on, like, this little island. Same thing with this. Like, what's this down here? Like, this should be something, right? It's not. There's nowhere to land in this entire side of Antiqua over here. Kind of strange. No, we want to land here. Nope, I don't want to get back in. Oh, God. I've ruined everything. I mean, honestly, for the next however long it takes me to get through all these Zelda games, I'll probably just be spending all of these tips on Zelda games and things I need to stream them. I need to buy the HDMI out device for my GameCube. I need to purchase a couple of the games that I don't have yet. We need to buy a bunch of limestone and stuff. Oh, I need to change my money. I can't do that here. So I need to go to a money changer first and then come back here. I don't want the plague. My doggo also has the plague. What are the last two charms that I'm missing, and should I even bother going for them? Go across the desert. There should be a money changer here. We're back here now. Currency changer? Yes. Oh, look at that. 2 jewels for every gold coin. Okay. Okay. Because for some reason, now that Blimp lives on this side of the plateau, he no longer wants to take fangs as money. Now he only takes jewels. Also, this flying machine goes backwards. That's kind of cool. We need limestone. We need Vax. Stock back up on water. It does not sell roots, but that's okay. Let's save here. And I think if we go ask Elizabeth, she'll tell us where to find the 2 items we need. Actually, no, we want to fly up since we're here. So we need the dog's eyes, too. Horace ought to give us some information on where those are. Tiny has set himself up as leader of the Oglins. Do I want to even buy barrier? It uses limestone, so no. Alright, so we can go deal with this tiny situation quickly. So where can we even land down here? There's not a landing spot anywhere near the pyramid, is there? Probably to come from all the way over here. The problem is that flying machine we have, if you touch any port of it with your sprite, it thinks you want to get into it, and it does that long animation where you board the plane. So you step out of the front, and if you just try to circle down and around it along the bottom, you'll just run into the wing, and it'll be like, oh, you want to get back on the plane. Cool. For some reason, my elevator is gone. Oh, you know what? We were going to use that double drain and level that up. Whoops, we didn't do that. Oh, well. Oh, God, I forgot about this. Oh, we still cast this. Good. It's like, we surely don't have the alchemy ingredients for this spell anymore, do we? Is this where we want to be? This is where we want to be, I think. New pyramid level. Let's put my spear back on. We did not even look at Elizabeth's or Camelia's call bead stuff, did we? Yeah, this is like a teleport maze, I think. I didn't remember it being like kind of a whole dungeon area, though. I thought it was just like a small encounter. What happens if I levitate the stone? Tiny must be around. This looks like one of his rocks. Even though we missed the little scene where Tiny throws rocks. I do wish somebody would tell Idiot Sandwich here that that is not how you attack with a spear. Oh, the remains of an Oglin. Oh, I can't carry anymore. We haven't used any healing items in a very long time. Looks like we're looking for like one more of these buttons. I've already been down here. Oh, there's unopened urns over here. Maybe we haven't been down here. Nowhere else to go here, though. So it looks like we're going to teleport into there. Okay. Oh, I didn't want to leave. Oh, damn it. That's bad. Okay, so that door is just closed. So the path must be in here somewhere. We just missed a path. And Pooper's just going to get most of the work done here, I think. I could start throwing crushes around. Stay on all three at once. That's possible. It would explain why the rock's there. But I think I just missed a path up here. Ha. That seemed like the wrong sound effect to play, but okay. Usually those things explode. Wings. Okay, so that was just to get some treasure, some wings and some ethanol. Let's just clear these guys out of here real quick. Cool. I kind of feel bad about having to beat this guy up now. But yeah, the trick here is you just keep going back into the one that you came out of. And eventually Tiny will stop throwing Oglins at you. Tiny lifts and Tiny throws. Whoa, text box, what are you doing? The border of the text box has decided it's had enough to drink. I don't think you can stay here forever. Because you're very limited in the kinds of, like, the range of action you have here. Like, once you realize you're going in a circle, you're going to have to try something else. And the only other thing to try is to go into the teleporter you came out of. I don't think it's realistic that players get stuck here for a large amount of time. I said I was going to let all Tiny's friends live, but then they started attacking me again, so now they get crushed. I don't want to fall into this hole. And now we will go talk to Elizabeth. There are parts of this game I think you can... I think you can get through without really knowing what you did. And that can feel bad in a game. Like if you're stuck in a place for some amount of time and then you finally you solve it, but you don't know what you did to solve it, that can feel bad. I've had that happen to me a lot. And there's areas in this game that can definitely feel like that. So these people have been trapped in this weird simulation world for 30 years and have never once confirmed that the others made it in safely. The butler. Dun 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 dun. Alright, so we gotta go back and fight the palette swapped version of the Bugmuck boss. Means I think we've actually got to go through the whole area again. I mean, when you think about it, who hasn't been trapped in a simulation for 30 years? Up through the Bugmuck again. Oh, was that the wrong way? That was the wrong way. Very well. Once all of the incorrect paths are eliminated, the correct path is all that remains to us. Benjamin Franklin said that. 10 talons. Oh, we're rich. Except now the horrible thing is green. Coleoptera. No, Coleoptera. Weird. Poopers was in there doing good work, but now he's backed off for some reason. Let's not die. That would be a shame. I wonder if anybody's ever done a no magic run of this game. That would probably be really painful. 4,000 talons, that translates to like 6 gold coins or something. Found a wheel. You can't enter that boss fight from the back door. I don't think the game will let you do that. Even if you can get up there, you can physically reach that space, but the game just won't let you in. There's a giant bug butt blocking the way. We can fly closer to the volcano, I believe. Yeah, I just really wish there was at least one other like little just optional place you could go to in Evermore. There's these other islands on the world maps. Oh, look, that's where the dog statue landed. That's pretty funny. Yeah, like if you could go to the islands on the world maps and like maybe there's something cool to do while you're there. Would be interesting. That's not what I want. The days when the plants pose a major threat to me are long, long over. Okay, so we have to find the correct geyser to jump onto. It actually might be the same one as before. Just now, instead of taking us to the top of the volcano, it'll take us to the sprocket or whatever. And that was in this one, I believe. That was incorrect. Door number 1. There we go. Who put the gauge in that convenient gourd? Poopers, please help. Or not, you know, whatever. Poopers wasn't hungry. And with that, I think we go back to Tinker, and I think we'll probably save the game. Would probably be a good idea. We have not saved for like a year and a half. There's only one landing spot anywhere in Ebon Keep. The whole world, the whole region only has one landing spot. Got everything. Always fiddle with your gizmo, kids. I was hoping it would give me the chance to save my game before getting launched up here. What a ride. And now you're a toaster. Attack of the Appliance People. I'm feeling very self-conscious about having not saved my game recently. I found A credits. Cool. Should be like a save point machine or something pretty quickly. Oh, this guy's free now. Nope, we're going to crush him. No? Oh, okay, it's a good guy. He's a good guy turret. This room only had a horrible blob. I'm sorry, a red jelly ball. That was a lot of damage, and it would be terrible if I died now, so... Let's just stay away from him. Fortunately, he can't damage me while I'm in my casting animation. I'm gonna be honest, I thought the thing would be dead by now. Poopers, you just wasted your shot, dude. How is this thing still alive? It has all of the hit points. There we go. Can't have any more nectar. Whew, that thing was like harder than any boss we've fought. More durable, at least. Here, hold on a second. Was it really not a place to save the game here? Oh, the fans do blow. Okay. Like on any of these machines? I guess we gotta go deeper into the place. Should have saved it Fire Eyes when I had the chance. There's not like a village or city area in the space station. It is all dungeon all the time. We got to go out with poopers here. Oh, I got to push the button to get out. Gonna take 2 fully charged volleys. Nice. Whoa, idiot sandwich, what are you doing? Getting yourself killed, that's bad. Lulu also thinks it's bad. You know what, let's just stay as you. In fact, let's do this. Be defensive, my dude. If he runs in and gets killed by this monster, we gotta replay like a whole bunch of game. Whereas Poopers is basically indestructible. Alright, A2. Two credits for every Talon. Okay. Four for every Jewel. Don't need to buy any of those. Purchase ingredients. We need lots of roots. Don't need anything else, really. Armament. Here we go. New collar. New mail. New hat. New glove. Is there an option to save here? Usually the ingredient seller gives you an option to save. It's going to be catastrophic if I can't save my game anywhere in here. Buy, sell, disengage. I'm just making doubly sure I didn't miss an option on one of these. So A2 is a store, but there's nowhere to actually... Oh, wait a minute. I can go out here. Green, red, blue. Ah, in. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Excellent. And we are now saved in Omnitopia. I think I'm going to take my cue to go ahead and abandon you guys there. My schedule should be cleared up for the rest of the week, I hope, so I can finish this game and start in on some of these Zelda games. I think what I'll do, since I've got a list of 16 Zelda games to play, is I'll just start playing through the ones that I have and then use donations and things that I get to fill in the gaps that I don't until we get through all 16. Fantastic. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace out. Sleep well.